Hello everyone, how you all doing? Welcome back to the FM Dugout, and today it's the Dreamus Teamus of San Marino, episode 7. And this week I was looking for a striker to be added, so someone to accompany Lionel Messi up front. And as you can see on screen, I have chosen for the FM Dugout Robert Lewandowski. Now I know there was a comment from the viewers suggesting Lewandowski. Now had that been picked, I would have picked a different player. The player I had in mind was Edinson Cavani, but I preferred Lewandowski. I thought he was a better goal scorer, and his age would hopefully mean he hadn't retired, but he has. So anyway, he was my selection, and for the viewers this week, from the thumbnail as you can tell, was Sergio Aguero. So yeah, it'll be interesting to see how these two sort of tally up, and I'll be sticking to the same format as I did in the last video, where I'll do a comparison of the players' stats. I think that's probably the best way to see how they have actually done. So let's, instead of delaying, get on to looking at how the team got on. So you can see here the world ranking is 126. I think the last time round it was 105 at the end for the dugout team, with Mattia De Sciglio being added. So yeah, okay, it's not ideal. Still not broken into the top 100 for the last year. Now I did actually notice in 2015 they were 97th. So that was pretty decent, but you can see here they then fell back down and sort of maintained a sort of reasonable level. I mean, considering they were 200 odd at the start, it is an improvement. You'll see Pierangelo Manzaroli is still in charge, and we're getting ever closer to the 11 player mark, that if they fail to get qualification or to win the World Cup, this man gets the chop from the start, and we'll put in a manager. Again, we'll do viewers versus the dugout with that. You guys can pick one and I'll pick one as well, and we'll see how that goes. You can see here top players, there's only 3 left out of the 7 now. A little bit disappointing, to be honest. But anyway, let's take a quick look over the fixtures. I know I've already run through them in the montage at the start, but you can see here, that was a terrible 5-1 loss to Albania. That one's just sticking out like a sore thumb. Good start for them, friendly win, and a win against Lithuania, who scored Lewandowski and Ronaldo. Narrow loss to England 2-0 at home. 2-2 draw against Switzerland. It's pretty good going. It was actually a late goal from Switzerland there, so that was good. And they went into the next year, a nice big win against Chinese Taipei. Lewandowski brace, Ronaldo brace, not bad at all. But they won against Estonia and they won against Lithuania, so they got back-to-back wins against Lithuania, and then they beat Estonia later on, so back-to-back wins there. And they also got a draw against Slovenia, and they only lost 1-0 at Wembley. So this is getting really, really close, and I think when you look at the where are we? Stages, when we go back to the last time round, and it was Group E. So look where they finished. They were 4th, -3 goal difference, 14 points. They are getting ever closer here now to pushing for a qualification spot. So I'm really hopeful that maybe in the next video, 8 or 9 players, we might actually make it to the finals of the European Championship. Now if we go ahead into the next year, you'll see that the world qualifiers are slightly different. So we beat Faroe Islands 3-1 and a 1-1 draw against Israel. Fairly hefty loss against Spain and France. Not too bad against Serbia. And then the following year, reverse again from France 4-2, Israel 3-1, Spain 4-2. Lost to the Faroe Islands. I would have really hoped that they would have beaten them in both. That's pretty poor. And then 6-0 against Serbia. And actually see here the 17th of the 11th, that's the date that the guys retire. So they actually retired after that friendly. So yeah, in terms of that group, they finished second bottom, way off the pace. Now for this series to be a success, they need to finish up there. That gives you some idea of the task at hand. So, very, very quickly, I know I keep forgetting to do this every single time. Argentina won the World Cup in 2018, and the European Championships was Portugal this time. So you can see most of these simulations, it's actually changing every time we do it. So that's how things went with Lewandowski. So let's see how you guys got on with Sergio Aguero.
Viewers versus the Dugout.
So here we are in 2018 with Sergio Aguero, the choice of you, the viewers. So, Sergio has retired also as well. Getting more and more disappointed every time we run these scenarios that people keep retiring all the time. Yeah, what a class player he is. I was thinking of Aguero, but I kind of shied away because I thought he would turn 30 and he might retire. Whereas Lewandowski was a year younger and he's retired anyway, so it didn't really matter. So let's see how we got on. Dang, you guys have beaten me this week. So 113th for you. That's a pretty decent result. It's 8 off our best finish. Look at this though. 2 players left out of 7. 5 players are chosen to retire. I really, really hope that if we do get to the stage where we qualify, these guys are just not going to retire in 2017, that they'll want to play in the World Cup. It would be crazy if they didn't. You can see here, actually doing pretty poorly, and then things started ramping up in 2016, and then maintained a really, really high position there, 101st for 3 months in a row, back at 101st again. So, you know, kudos to you guys. That's really, really good. It looks a lot better than sort of dipping up and down. So that's very, very pleasing. So let's take a look and see how the fixtures went for Aguero. First year, 2 1-0 draws and 3 losses. Narrow loss though to Switzerland away from home. Pretty good performance, I think, there. In the draws, what do we have? Aguero scoring, Ronaldo scoring. See, Ronaldo, again, is so frustrating. He does well in the European Championship qualifiers, and then he just chooses to retire. When is it he does it? 2015. So he doesn't even take part in the World Cup qualifiers, which is really, really frustrating. So, anyway, into 2015, we got a pretty big loss against England. Then back-to-back wins, Estonia, Lithuania, and then another big loss against Switzerland. We're just conceding too many goals, I think, for your team and my own. So I think, it seems to be the main problem at the moment. We are scoring a lot more frequently. Into 2000, hang on. Jumping ahead of myself here. So let's see how you got on in terms of Group E. Well, you finished 4th as well, but only on 8 points instead of 14. And Slovenia actually qualified via the playoffs. But again, you know, finishing ahead of Lithuania and Estonia now should be, what we're expecting. And I think what we expect next is to be ahead of Slovenia and fighting with Switzerland probably for that second spot. And hopefully it can happen sooner rather than later. So let's go back again to 2016. So Ronaldo retires and boom, 4 losses there in a row. Heavy loss against France. 2-1 all draws back to back. It was pretty good going against Slovenia and Turkey. Aguero scoring both games right at the death against Turkey. So pretty good there. He's holding the team. Messi scored against Serbia. Another draw. Oh, sorry, that was a friendly. 2-0 away to France is good. 2-0 Latvia, and then more losses. 2-1 against Wales isn't too bad. So in terms of that group, how do we finish off here? Second bottom. Again, it's Slovenia, isn't it? Was it Slovenia or was it Slovakia? I always get confused between the two. Long way to go, 20 points off, so minus 10 goal difference. Okay, so just before we do the direct comparison between the players, Italy won the World Cup, and who won here? England again. So England won it earlier in the series, and they've won it again. Okay, so without any further ado, let's go and see how the two strikers got on head to head. So when you look at how these guys have done for San Marino, I think you can say it's been a pretty decent success for both of them. So we'll start with Lewandowski. 18 goals in 30 appearances for any national team is really impressive. But for San Marino, that is a fantastic return. So I'm feeling quite good about that in terms of the coming episodes when the rest of the team start to strengthen up. I think those goals can really help. 5 assists and 4 man of the match with an average rating of 7.3 over the 4 seasons. So I'm very, very happy with that. And, I think the viewer who suggested Lewandowski will probably be happy at that suggestion. In terms of Aguero, 9 goals in 22, again, is a good return. I think, again, I would probably want a little bit more from Aguero, if I'm being honest. But, almost 1 and 2. Can't complain at San Marino. Assists, only with the 1 assist for Sergio and 2 man of the match. So certainly in terms of his contribution to the game with the sort of key stats, maybe not as much as Lewandowski, but his average rating, again, 7.32. So, on the whole, I think both of them have done particularly well. So, now that we seem to have the knack of scoring goals, we still have the problem of leaking them. And at the moment we have a goalkeeper in Manuel Neuer, that's shared by both teams. We've got Jerome Boateng at centre-back, who's shared by both teams. And then we've got Dani Carvajal for you guys, and I have Mattia De Sciglio at right-back. So I want another defender. So whether or not it's left-back or centre-back, I think we really should be going for a centre-back, okay? So that's the job for you guys. Really, really happy so far that you're participating and giving suggestions, and I hope you're enjoying it. I hope you aren't frustrated if your selection isn't getting picked, but it's your chance again. So throw in a suggestion for a commanding centre-back other than Jerome Boateng to get added to the San Marino squad for episode 8. And just before I go, take a look at this little graph that I've pulled together, which shows our journey through this series so far. So for the first 4 weeks, we shared the same players. We had Messi, we had Neuer, we had Ronaldo, and we had Jerome Boateng. And we split up on Series 5, where I did worse than you. And that was with Paul Pogba and Arturo Vidal. And then last episode, a major shift in the opposite direction with Dani Carvajal for the viewers and Mattia De Sciglio for the dugout, and it's swapped over again, although we're a bit closer this time. But certainly if you look at the trend of the graph as a whole, it is coming down, but it's not really getting down to top 20, top 40, which is where you would expect a team to be if they're going to sort of qualify for a major tournament, and if they're actually going to do anything when they get there. But I think we've actually been making some good progress, and adding a centre-back should hopefully firm things up a bit at the back. That'll be 4 out of the 5 positions, assuming they play 5 at the back, where we've filled them up with elite players. So I'm kind of hoping that we might be able to stop some of the silly goals that they've been conceding, the big heavy losses, and we might actually be able to sort of claw ourselves up those qualification tables. Certainly I think the goal for next episode will be to finish above Slovenia and start getting a bit closer to Switzerland. But it really doesn't look too hopeful for World Cup glory with a squad of 11 players without changing the manager. I think the manager's going to have to change. I think we're probably going to be looking at about 20 players. So, if you guys are new to this series, there's plenty of time to get involved. So make sure that you put your suggestions forward for next week for a new centre-back for the team. And who knows, you might get your selection picked at random. So guys, I hope you're enjoying this series. As ever, make sure you leave a like and a comment if you are. Really appreciate any feedback that you can give me. And if you're new to the channel, hit that subscribe button and come back to the Dugout for some more Football Manager fun. Until the next time, I'll see you when I see you.